Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham. Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu me Bho Rama Mamuddhara Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahmavidwaram Satgurum Brahmavidwaram. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastvanirakaranam me astu Tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu dharmaha te mayi santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Tasyai tapodamah karmeti pratishtha Vedaha sarvangani Satyam ayatanam. We were seeing the second last mantra of Kenopanishad. If you want to title this mantra, we can call it as the murti of Brahmavidya. Lord Shiva, when he takes physical form and he is sitting there for meditation, Goswamiji said, Lord Shiva looked like Shantarasa has embodied into a physical form. It is not Lord Shiva sitting in Shanti, in quietude, but quietude taking a physical form is Lord Shiva. Like that, if Brahmavidya were to take a physical form, how would it look? Upanishad Rishi said, Tasya tapodamaha karmeti pratishtha. It is rooted in all these qualities. Pratishtha, literal meaning is legs. But the symbolic meaning is that in which it is rooted. So first one was tapa, second is dhamma, third is karma, which is karma yoga. Vedaha sarvangani. All of them are the means for us to gain Brahmavidya. So in Brahmavidya Murti, this also is included. Vedas and Vedangas. 6 Vedangas we had seen. Satyam ayatanam. Truthfulness is the abode, the home of Brahmavidya. This is one interpretation. Second is, Bhagavan says, you can put a comma after pratishtha. You can say, tapa, dhamma and karma, they are the legs. Vedaha sarvangani. Vedas are other parts of the body. And then ayatanam you can interpret as heart. So Satyam is the heart of Brahmavidya. Okay, so those are the 2 interpretations. This we had seen in the last 2 sessions. Tapaha, Damaha, Karma, and Satyam. Okay. I won't elaborate it again because Satyam part will come today. We'll see in detail that part. But Tapa, Dama, and Karma we had seen previously. Vedangas, they are the 6 Vedangas which help in understanding Vedas. Now we'll start the Bhashya from the word Pratishtha. Tasya Tapo Damah Karma. Until this point, Bhashya was done. The later part now. Pratishtha Padau Padau Iva Asyaha Teshu Hi Satsu Pratitishthati Brahmavidya Pravartate Padbhyam Iva Purushaha Vedaha Chatvaraha Sarvani cha Angani Shikshadini Shat Karma Jnana Prakashakatvat Vedanam Tat Rakshanarthatvat Anganam Pratishtatvam. Pratishtha Padav iva asyaha teshu hi satsu pratitishthati Brahmavidya pravartate padbhyam iva purushaha. Means only when legs are there, a person can walk, person can stand. Like that, Brahmavidya can stand only when these qualities are present. So Pratishtha means that which makes Brahmavidya take root. That is the meaning of the word Pratishtha. Minus these qualities, person doesn't have Damaha, doesn't have Tapa, not done Karma Yoga. The later part for knowledge to come is very difficult. Actually, this is the topic of 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what we are currently studying, where Bhagavan says, Yoga Yukto Munir Brahma Achirenadi Gacchati. That Muni who has meditated upon form of the Lord. Bhagavan Shankaracharya translates Muni as one who reflects about Bhagavan. That Muni becomes Karma Sannyasi, means he goes, gains knowledge, and also abides in that knowledge. But minus that preparation step, this sadhaka himself will feel knowledge is not working for me. Whereas Upanishads themselves say for knowledge to work, these preparations have to be there. Brahmavidya pravartate means Brahmavidya can function. It can work only when these qualities are present. Vedaha chatvaraha. What are Vedas? 4 Vedas are meant by the word Vedaha. Sarvani cha angani shikshadini. This is from Upanishad mantra. Vedaha sarvangani is there, right? In Upanishad mantra. This is angani means Vedangani. Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta Chanda, Jyotisha. All these things are Vedangas. Now, why are you calling Vedanga also as Pratishtha? First interpretation, Pratishtha is the root in which all of them are present and they will help Brahmavidya take root. Pratishtha means that in which Brahmavidya will take root. How do you say Vedangas are also needed for Pratishtha of Brahmavidya? So that Bhagavan is explaining. He says, Brahmavidya is revealed through Vedangas also. Means they secondarily help understand Brahmavidya. 6 of them are there. Shikshadini Shat. What do? Karma Jnana Prakashakatvat. They reveal the nature of karma, karma yoga. They reveal the nature of knowledge also. Means only when we have mastery over Vyakaranam, to whatever extent we can, more the Upanishad mantra will open for us. Like we saw in Ishavasya Upanishad, Tasmin napaha matarishva dadhati. What was the meaning of the word Tasmin there? Atma. Rooted in Atma. Meaning of the word apaha? Karma. Matarishva? Brahmaji, Hiranyagarbha. Dadhati distributes. Now literal meaning is what? Apaha means water. Brahmaji distributes tirtham to everybody. Staying where Tasmin, you can also take it as Brahmaloke. Means if you go to Brahmaloka, there is Brahmaji who is distributing this Amrutam, this Tirtham. But what Vyakarana does is, or Niruktam, etymology does is, it gives the meaning in that particular context. So Tasmin referred to Atma, Apaha referred to Karma, Matarishva referred to Hiranyagarbha, and Dadati means all karmas are distributed by Hiranyagarbha by being rooted in that same Atma Tattva. So because Nirukta and Vyakaranam, they help in understanding Brahmavidya, that is why they are also Pratishtha. Otherwise, you have to explain this line, Karma Jnana Prakashakatvat. How does Vedanga do Prakashanam of Karma and Jnana? Through Nirukta, different meanings are understood. That is why Vedanga also is Pratishtha. Tat Rakshanarthatvat Anganam Pratishtatvam. Vedangas, what they really do is they protect Vedas. Means over a period of time, if there are Veda mantras which are constantly being heard, memorized, and transferred, you can imagine the noise that can come in the data. So many things can get lost, so many things, meaning itself can be changed. But Vedangas will make sure that the rules are in the right place and you can go back and verify. For that reason also Bhagavan says Vedangas are called as Pratishtha. Pratishtha word is clear, right? That because of which Brahmavidya will become Pratishtita. That is called as Pratishtha. Now he gives the second symbolic meaning of the metaphor. What is the second meaning? Put a comma after Pratishtha. He says, Athava Pratishtha Shabdasya Padarupa Kalpanarthatvat Vedaha Tu Itarani Sarvangani Shira Adini Asmin Pakshe Shikshadinam Vedagrahanena Eva Grahanam Krutam Pratyetavyam Angini Hi Gruhite Angani Gruhitani Eva Bhavanti Tat Ayat Tattvat Anganam. Athava, or alternatively, the second meaning of that metaphor, Pratishtha Shabdasya Padarupa Kalpanarthatvat. The word Pratishtha, you can directly take it for legs. If you are making the murti of Brahmavidya, the legs will be Tapa, Dama, and Karma. Tapa, Dama, Karma, they are the legs. Vedahatu Itarani Sarvangani Shira Adini. The head, hands, the torso part of the body, everything is Veda and Vedangas. Now, if you take this interpretation, Bhagavan says, Vedanga is not separately given in the mantra. Vedaha Sarvangani is given. But because Vedas are given, Vedangas have to be included in the word Veda. Vedangas are auxiliary part of Vedas themselves. So by the word Veda, Vedanga also will be included in the second interpretation. अस्मिन् पक्षे शिक्षादीनां वेदग्रहणेन एव ग्रहणं कृतं प्रत्येतव्यम्. अंगिनिः गृहीते अंगानि गृहीतानि एव भवन्ति. Means if you take the name of Angi, the name of Anga is already included. If you say person is coming, you don't have to specifically say his head is also coming. If you say Angini, body is coming, head is included, Anga is included. Like that, if Veda is mentioned, we don't specifically say Vedangas are also part of other Shariras. Okay. Angini hi gruhite, Angani gruhitani eva bhavanti, tat ayattatvat Anganam. Okay, because it is the Angi is the home or the abode of all Angas. Because of that. Now comes the third one. What is the heart of Brahmavidya? We are making murti of Brahmavidya. Huh? Final darshan we should have inside. But here Bhagavan is telling us what is the heart of Brahmavidya. That is the next part. Very beautiful definition is there. Satyam ayatanam yatra tisthati upanishad tat ayatanam satyam iti amayita akautilyam vang manah kayanam teshu hi ashrayati vidya ye amayavinah sadhavah na asura prakrutishu mayavishu na yeshu jimma jimmam anrutam na mayacha iti shrutehe tasmat satyam ayatanam iti kalpyate. Where does Brahmavidya live? What is the home of Brahmavidya? Ayatanam means home. Satyam ayatanam. Home of Brahmavidya is that sadhaka who is rooted in truth. Rooted in truth meaning even in his transactions, he holds on to Satyam. In that sadhaka alone, Brahmavidya will go and reside. Yatra Upanishad tishtati. Where does Upanishad feel the most secure, most at ease? In that sadhaka who is holding on to Satyam. Now, what is Satyam? What is truthfulness? Bhagavan Shankaracharya elaborates. Amayita. Amayita, you know the word we had seen in Ramcharitmanas? Jinake dambha kapata nahi maya. Jinake kapata damba nahi maya. So Maya Shabda means hiding and misguiding. How does that happen? Come to this last part. Vang manaha kayanam. How will you say that a person, or when do we say a person doesn't have Maya? When his thought, speech, and action, all three things are well aligned. Now it is possible that there is a line in between manaha and vak and kaya. Line means manaha thinks something else, vak and kaya speech and body, they are doing something else. If that happens, Bhagavan says that is called as Maya. Mind is having something, whereas what is being expressed outside, that is totally different. Now we'll take an example. It's easier to understand that way. Let us say some co-worker, he got promoted. Now I go and congratulate that person. Very nicely done. Shaking hand is kaya. Congratulating through speech is vak. But what is in manaha, that nobody will know. If mind is also aligned with this bhavana that I appreciate, the accomplishment, appreciate wherever there is brilliance. This is that vyavahara is called as Satyam. All three of them aligned together. We should also think, how does this Satyam come? All qualities are like that. They are there. But unless you do mananam about how does this quality come, it's very difficult to appreciate those qualities. So for Satyam, it is said, it is a result of purity of mind. Satyam is not something we can forcefully practice. More and more mind becomes pure, more it will be uncomfortable with Asatyam. Even the smallest Asatyam will bother this sadhaka. It is just like a person who is used to wearing clean clothes. Smallest speck of dirt starts bothering him. So Satyam is also like that. It is not forcefully practiced. More the mind becomes pure, the sadhaka becomes uncomfortable with Asatyam. He says, even if I have to go through some consequence, I will go through, but I'll hold on to Satyam than Asatyam. And this we have to keep reflecting on what is the consequence of Asatyam. Immediate consequence is agitation of the mind. Bhagavan has kept one mechanism inside. Wherever this adharmic vrittis come, they are accompanied with some sort of guilt. On the other hand, the litmus test of dharma is a pleasant mind, a cheerful mind. So that is the sadhana for Satyam. Chitta Shuddhi, natural result of Chitta Shuddhi is desire to hold on to Satyam. But how do you define Satyam? It says when your mind, speech, and action, they are aligned together. They say there is something called as letter of law versus spirit of law, right? Unaligned mind will hold on to only letter of law. Aligned mind, speech, and action can also hold on to the spirit of law. Okay, if you are new to this term, simple example, letter of law, spirit of law. This I had read in this Calvin and Hobbes cartoon. Mother says, go and take shower. You are so covered with mud. And she shouts from down. And she says, I should hear the water running. And this guy goes up, turns on the tap, stands behind it. Followed, and the line there was, I follow spirit of law, if not, no, I follow letter of law, if not spirit of law. In our vyavahara also, so many times we follow letter of law. Speech is very nice, actions are very nice, but mind doesn't align with that speech and action. Sadhana is when, through whatever means, I align my mind also with that kind of vyavahara. In fact, if mind is pure and vyavahara is little bit different, that is still okay. Can you find an example? Ramcharitmanas, Goswamiji writes on Chaupai in Kevat Prasanga. What was Kevat's speech like? Prema lapete atapate. In his speech, there is some kind of arrogance. Bhagwan is calling, he says, I will not come. And there is some insistence also in his speech. But Goswamiji says his heart is pure. But the other way is what a sadhaka has to work upon. Means if speech and kaya, speech and action, they are doing something, mind is doing something else. Bhagwan says in Bhagavad Gita, wherever you see brilliance, there you should see my grace. Wherever there is expression of brilliance, there you should see me alone. With this bhavana, that act of congratulating the co-worker, speech of congratulating co-worker, if mind can also have this bhavana, that this is where brilliance is seen, instead of me being jealous of that person, one can do the sadhana of Satyam. Because the mind part, only we will know. Mind part, nobody else will come to know, nobody else will understand also. That is this sadhana of Satyam. You know, I'd heard one interview once where this person was into advertisement. You know, he would do ads, commercial ads, and he was so good in whatever he did. He would not hesitate to teach his skill to others. Not hesitate to teach his marketing skill to others. And it so happened that whomever he taught this skill, the work which would come to him would go to that person. Means his own people whom he trained, the work which would have come to him would go to all of them. And this speaker was giving him as an example. He says, look at this person. He's at a level where not concerned about who is taking what. And he said, insecurity about anything is a sign of excellence. Insecurity or not having insecurity about anything is a sign of excellence. Not being insecure that if I teach this thing to this person, he will take away my work. The topic of his speech was achievers of excellence. And he was finding different examples. And I said, one of them is this person. Lack of insecurity, absence of insecurity, he said, is a sign of excellence. Because what we will see is, for speech and action to fall in place is easy. But for mind to appreciate the same quality of what speech is saying and action is doing, that will need all mananam. Either you hold on to excellence and try to work on the mind. Either you hold on to Chitta Shuddhi as the sadhana, then try to hold on to that quality of Satyam. My favorite example for how we cannot hold back our mind too much means if mind is having something, very quickly it will express in speech and action. Although here we say that mind is doing something, speech is doing something, action is doing something else. They are so interconnected that you cannot keep it separate for too long. This is one of my favorite story from Mullah Nazruddin, okay? You must have heard it, but hear it again. Mullah had a friend who came visiting him on one festival day. The Mullah had just come from a spiritual talk. He had this divine thought in his mind. He said, my friend is just like me. Whatever he needs, I should be willing to share with him. And his friend was not so well-to-do, came from a long distance. He saw that his clothes were very soiled. Festival time, Mullah brought a new set of kurta. He said, new set of kurta. What did I hear in spiritual discourse? My friend is just like me. Whatever he needs, I should give. How many times have I brought new clothes? This one festival, can't I give him my new pair of clothes? He gives. Friend is also happy. Goes inside, changes, comes out. Moment he comes out, Mullah looks at him. He said, my friend is looking better than me. New pair of clothes, everything is good. And somewhere this regret starts happening, Why did I have to give? He said, anyway, let us go to some friends' homes to give some sweets. Mullah goes, gives sweets, introduces his friends. To the friend to whose home he had gone, introduces the friend who is with him. He said, this is my friend who has come from a neighboring city. But the kurta that he's wearing is mine, not his. A friend gets so upset. He says, if this is why you gave me the kurta, I would not have come with you. I would not have worn it. My previous clothes were better. Now Mullah says, it was a slip of tongue. Very sorry, this will not happen again. Friend says, okay. Are you sure you will not do it again? He says, yes. Next home they go. Mullah gives sweets. What does he say? This is my friend from neighboring city. The kurta that he is wearing is his. It is not mine. Friend says, why do you have to talk about kurta? We are here to give sweet. He says, last chance. Third house we have to go. I will make sure nothing happens this time. Last house gives the sweet. He says, this is my friend from neighboring city. Let us not talk about kurta. The point is, Bhagavan has made this system so closely connected. Mind, speech, and action, that we cannot keep them separate for too long. So the whole sadhana is, how can we align speech and action with our mind? We can start with action, we can start with speech, but culmination of that should be in mind aligning. That is this amayita vang manaha kayanam, along with sharira, along with speech, along with mind. Akautilyam means no pretentiousness or shrewdness. Sadhaka who is wanting to abide in Atma Tattva, that sadhaka cannot afford to have these qualities. Because Satyam is ayatanam. Satyam is the home. So Brahma Vidya will not stay there. Teshu hi ashrayate vidya. Brahma Vidya comes and stays only in that abode. Ye amaya vinaha sadhavaha. Means if somebody calls themselves as sadhu, the prerequisite for that is amayavita. Mayavi and sadhu cannot go together. Huh? If it goes together, it is like Ravana. Right? First person to put all sadhus in jeopardy. Starting from that point, because of his combination of Maya and Vesha of sadhu. Sadhu and Maya cannot go together. If there is Maya, Bhagwan Shankaracharya calls that person as Asura Prakritishu. Na Asura Prakritishu Maya Vishu. Means that person who doesn't have Asura Prakriti, who doesn't have Maya. So, Pauranic way of representing this is when Meghnad comes to fight with Lakshmanji, he uses all kind of Maya. But here the symbolic meaning is that is Asura Prakriti. You show something, but you are something. Asura Prakritishu Maya Vishu. Na Yeshu Jihmam. Jihmam here means deceit. Jihmam means deceit. Anrutam means falsity. And Maya means pretentiousness. Pretentiousness. The one who does not have it, only in that person, Brahmavidya takes root. Iti shrutehe. Tasmat Satyam ayatanam iti kalpyate. Therefore, it is said Satyam is the heart of that thing. I should have asked this first. Do you remember the Chauda Bhuvan Prasang in Ramcharitmanas? This was one of the sadhanas. Jinake kapata damba nahi maya, tinake hrudaya basahu raguraya. What is the connection here? Hrudaya becomes ayatanam. The heart becomes the home in which Bhagwan Rama will come and stay. I say that home is built with the walls of truthfulness. Satyam. Okay. Maharaj ji would say, जब आप छोटे छोटे सत्य संभाल पाओगे, तब बड़ा सत्य संभाल पाओगे. Means when we can handle smaller truths, then only we can handle the absolute truth. Vyavaharik Satyam leads us to Paramarthika Satyam. Now this I'll just read. What it says is, this tapa and every other sadhana that we saw, Satyam is that sadhana which excels everything else. That is the glory of Satyam. Tapa adishu eva pratishthātvena praptasya satyasya punaha ayatanatvena grahanam sadhana atishayatva jnapanartham. You already said pratishtha is tapaha, damaha and karma. Now again, why do you have to say Satyam ayatanam? Bhagavan says we have to say that, or Upanishad mantra says that, because Satyam excels all other sadhanas. How does it excel? Ashwamedha sahasram cha Satyam cha tulaya dhrutam. If you take a scale, weighing scale, on one side you put the punya karma of 1000 Ashwamedha yajnas. On the other side, if you put Satyam, Satyam will excel punya karma of 1000 Ashwamedha yajnas. Ashwamedha sahasracha Satyam ekam vishishyate. One Satyam on one side, 1000 Ashwamedha on the other side. Meaning what? To hold on to Satyam is more difficult than doing 1000 Ashwamedha yajnas. To work on aligning our mind with our speech and action is more difficult than doing 1000 Ashwamedha yajnas. See, that is the difference between doing karma and karma yoga. In karma, we are not working much on our mind. We are not working on inner qualities, inner virtues. But karma yoga is where we are focusing less on the karma, we are focusing more on what karma is doing to the mind. So that part is very difficult, more difficult than 1000 Ashwamedha yajnas. Okay. Now comes the last mantra. Yova etam evam Veda apahatya papmanam anante swarge loke jeye pratitishthati pratitishthati yova etam evam Veda. The one who understands the Upanishad in the way that has been just elaborated, starting from Keneshitam Padati Preshitam Manaha, all the way until the Akhyayika of Devatas, Asuras, Yaksha, everything is understood, reflected, owned up. The one who does that, Apahatya Papmanam, he lets go or he gives up all the sins arising or born out of ignorance. Papmanam means avidya itself is the greatest papa. Thinking ourselves to be karta bhokta, thinking ourselves to be finite, that gives rise to karma. That gives rise to raga dvesha. Duality, once we have accepted it to be true, everything else is only byproduct. All other samsara. Samsara while we are living here, samsara hereafter in the form of transmigration. So both of these things he is freed from. Where does he go? Anante swarga loke jeye. Bhagavan Shankaracharya elaborates, Swarga here doesn't mean Swarga Loka. Swarga here refers to Atma, which is the source of supreme most bliss. So Swarga refers to Sukham, unconditioned bliss that Jnani abides, revels in that unconditioned bliss. Now, why do you say Swarga Loka is not like literal Swarga Loka? Why is it Atma? He says this adjective Anante is used. Anante means infinite. Swargaloka is not infinite. You go there, you have to come back. Limitations which are there in creation will be there in Swarga also. If not bodily limitations, mind-related limitations will be there. Swargaloka, it is said, you don't feel hunger and thirst as much as we do in Manushya Loka. But agitations of the mind are the same in Swargaloka also. That's why Indra Bhagwan feels very nervous, feels very insecure. So that's why this Swarga Loka doesn't refer to a Loka, it refers to Atma. That inner self, this sadhaka revels in it, which is of the nature of Ananda. Jaya means the one which is supreme most. Jaya is not going and conquering. Jaya means, like how Arjuna says, right? Jayasi chet karmanaste. So Jaya and Jayasi, it is the same root. Jayasi, that means greater. Pratitishthati, pratitishthati. That sadhaka abides in this absolute bliss. Whatever is repeated twice means that portion is concluded. I explained whatever is there in the Bhashya, but I'll just read it. Yo vai etam Brahmavidyam keneshitam ityadina yathoktam evam mahabhagam Brahma devebhyah ityadina stutam sarva vidya pratishtham Veda. The one who understands Brahma Vidya, which brings all prosperity, all good fortune. Mahabhagam, look at the adjective for Brahma Vidyam. That which brings all goodness in life, the one who has understood that Brahma Vidya. Paid attention to all the mantras of Kenopanishad. Keneshitam, Brahma devebhyo, everything is very carefully understood, internalized. Amrutatvam hi vindate iti uktam api Brahma Vidya phalam anante nigamayati. For that person, the result of Brahma Vidya is indicated. What is that result? Amrutatvam hi vindate. he attains immortality. Apahatya papmana. What is that immortality? How does it look like? Removal of all papa. Avidya kama karma lakshanam samsara bijam vidhuya. Apahatya papmana means what? Removing avidya, removing kama, and removing all desire prompted actions for happiness. Samsara bijam. This is the seed of samsara. Avidya is the seed of samsara. Vidhuya, having let gone of. Where does he go? Anante, infinite. Aparyante means that which doesn't have any boundaries. You see, this adjective cannot go with Swarga. If Swarga is infinite, why is it not there here then? No boundary means that, right? It cannot have any boundary. You see, Swarga also has some, it is also Santa. It has some boundary. Swarge loke, what is the meaning of the word Swarge loke? Sukhatmake. That absolute bliss, he says that is the meaning of the word Swarga. Brahmani iti etat. He goes and abides in that Brahman. Okay. Last part he says, why did you interpret the word Swarga Loka as Sukhatmake and not some Loka? Ananteti Visheshanat na Trivishtape. Trivishtape means Swarga. Trutiyam Vishtapam iti Trivishtapam. The third world. First is called as Bhuloka. Second one is Naraka. Third one is Swarga. You can have different combinations. Bhu, Bhuva, Swa also you can have, but here it is Bhuloka, Naraka, and Swarga. So Trivishtapa means the third Loka, which is Swarga. So here it says Ananteti Visheshana na Trivishtape. Because the adjective Ananta is used, we are not referring to Swarga Loka here. Na Trivishtape. Ananta Shabda Aupacharika api syat iti ataha aha. Now somebody might say Ananta Shabda is only secondary meaning. We should not take the absolute meaning of that. You sometimes say, if there is somebody who has lot of land, you say, how much land does he have? Ananta. If you go to Irvine and you say, no, how much land does this person have in Irvine? He says, infinite. Wherever you go, that is his only. He says, no, not in that sense. Ananta word has to be used in its main meaning. That is why the word Jaya is used. Jaya iti jayasi sarva mahattare. It is the supreme most state. Swatmani mukhye eva pratitishthati. That sadhaka goes and abides in Atma, which is one's own true self. Na punaha samsaram apadyate iti abhiprayah. That person doesn't come back to samsara. Hereafter also, while living also. The while living part is more important than hereafter. Actually, it is said, okay, let me ask you first. We have heard these two words, right? Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. Which one comes first? Jivan Mukti or Videha Mukti? Jivan Mukti. How many of you say Jivan Mukti? Online, you can raise your hand. How many of you say Videha Mukti? There is a text called as Jivan Mukti Viveka, where Swami Vidyaranyaji says, Videha Mukti comes first, and later comes Jivan Mukti. You know why? Simple meaning. The moment knowledge takes place, in true essence, Moment a sadhaka knows I am not this jiva, I am Brahma, and abides in it. This is right at that moment, bhavi deha prapti is negated. Means whichever deha has to come later, that possibility is negated for that sadhaka. But he says for Jivan Mukti, we have to constantly work with our mind. So that is why he adds two more categories, Vasanakshaya and Manonasha. Knowledge might have taken place, but if Vasanas are there, it will keep bothering Jivan Mukti Ananda. So he says Videha Mukti is easier. Jivan Mukti is what? Will need Vasanakshaya, and we'll have to negate this mind, purify this mind, work with this mind. In spite of knowing it is mithya. Na punaha samsaram apadyate. He says, while living also, there is no samsara. Hereafter also, there is no samsara. Iti chaturtha khanda bhashyam. With this, we conclude our Kenopanishad. We started on September 18th, 2021, right? So 50 classes we took, almost a year to complete this. But the beauty was, we saw all the mantras along with every word of Shankar Bhashya. If you have survived through the text, that itself is an indicator of Bhagwan's grace and sadhana chatushtaya. Otherwise, it's not easy to stay connected with the text, stay inspired with the text. Very few mantras. This is not a long Upanishad, but the Bhashya part was very beautiful. You also had the good fortune of looking at Ishvara Siddhi Prakaranam in detail. Whatever is seen there is very hard to find elsewhere. You would have noticed that studying with Shankar Bhashya gives lot of depth, lot of clarity, and lot of precision. What a particular word of mantra means, getting that precision is not easy without Bhashya. So our prayer to Bhagwan is, may his grace, blessings continue. May we stay inspired, stay connected with Sanskritam to our best ability, and hope to study Prasthanatrayi in this way. When we say we have studied Vedanta, what is expected is, we have studied Upanishad with Shankar Bhashya, Bhagavad Gita with Shankar Bhashya, and Brahma Sutra with Shankar Bhashya. But Brahma Sutra is the last part where only doubts are resolved. First, we have to become familiar with what are the questions. Then only answers will make sense in Brahma Sutra. That is the journey. Okay. I just brought this as memories of the past. I'm not going to go over it. Okay, this was our first slide of Kenopanishad. But as we always do, as a mark of our commitment to keep studying, we will chant the first mantra of Kenopanishad again. Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha kenaf pranaf pratamaf praiti yuktaha keneshitam vachamimam vadanti chakshushrotram kaudevo yunakti. Our pranams to our entire Guru Parampara for giving us this knowledge.